Ha- Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Curiosity Cove. My name's Veda.
And I'm your trusty captain speaking. And today, joined with us is our lovely special guest.
Milk, hello.
And today, we'll be talking about our favorite champions and some new stuff too.
Yeah.
I'm
Champion
so excited.
spotlights.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. But before that, how are you guys? How are your days?
Yeah, Chocky, how's your day going today?
Good, pretty good. I had a busy day, but overall, a good one. How was your guys' day?
Yeah, my day was pretty okay. I had a super busy day too, so I feel like I'd never really got a second to just sit down and be like, oh, and take a breath. I feel like I was just go all day. So this is like the first time I get to like sit down, take a breath. I have my little snackies with me, and so I'm ready to talk on podcast.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
so excited.
Hell
How was your
yeah.
day, Veda?
It was all right. I started the day with like not feeling super great. It's like a super rainy, super dreary day. And usually those are really nice for me, but like something about waking up today, I was like, this is not it. And so it was a little much throughout the early parts of the day, but it chilled out, and then I got home and I got online to start Dawn Trail for 14, which is pretty exciting. And as you guys
How's it
know,
going?
I'm literally in the queue to get into the game right now as we record. In the background, fully muted, is 14, and it's just me waiting to get back in. Dawn Trail's really cool. The music is super pretty. The location that I've seen, because there's only like one that you can go to right now, we're in early access, so that like starter location is the first location that everybody's in right now. It's really, really pretty. The background music is super awesome. I don't know much about the plot yet. I'm only on like the second quest of it.
I was literally about to ask.
Yeah,
I'm storyline.
I'm told it's a highly political expansion, so if it stays that way, I'll be super stoked because I do like highly political storylines. But yeah, that was my day. As I pretty much came home and hopped straight on to make sure I could get into Dawn Trail. Been playing that.
Yeah. I mean, I would. It's a big DLC for y'all.
Oh hell yeah! I mean, I was literally in a dungeon right up until this podcast started, and then I got kicked, and now I'm as we do the podcast, I will be logging back into 14.
Oh my gosh!
Excellent. Well, do we have any cap words today?
I did, and I didn't write it down, which I'm so upset by. But I also don't think I could spell it. I could only like. At the time, say the word because it's in a song. Oh. So if I figure out what song it is in, I'll figure it out.
Okay.
But I was just like, oh, I figured it out just right now. I was just going through some music in my head. Conscripture.
Okay.
And I don't know how to spell it, but it's in a song. Actually, Tomo gave me the recommendation of the song, and I love it. And I was sitting there and I was like, it's such a pretty like word in the song with how the like singer sings it. But I was like, I don't understand what it means. So when we dive into Word with Vado, I'll try and figure out how to spell it and then get back to you.
Look up the lyrics. Just grab it from the lyrics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. Yeah, well I do in fact have a Word with Vado. I'm gonna try really hard to pronounce this correctly before I just play it over Google. It's pachydermatous. Yes, that's the word. Pachydermatous.
Okay. Wait, and like pachyderm, like a hoofed animal?
Right, but it's just pachydermatous. And it actually means to be like by nature to be kind of like cruel or harsh or cold. Or to be like insensitive to or like unaffected by things like insults or criticism or any sort of like negative like incoming vibes.
Interesting.
Pachydermatous.
Pachydermatous.
Funny enough, I tried to get Lexi and Tomo to guess the definition of this, and Tomo almost got it right. So
What?
yeah,
The
well,
fuck?
he's like smart, dude. Like,
Honestly, though, I don't think I could have ever just sat here and told you what that meant. I would have just been thinking of hoofed animals the whole time.
yeah, I mean that's believe it or not, that's how he got to the like
Wait,
definition of it.
really?
Yeah, he just like I don't know. That's some smart people shit. I can't answer that for you. I don't know how it works. I don't know how that brain works.
How that brain works.
But yeah, that's my word of the day. Pachydermatous.
Pachydermatous.
I like it.
Okay, I figured out what. So the line is in the song Second Pillow by Thelma Millar. And the word conscripture, because I don't even know if I'm saying it right, but it doesn't define like that, the conscripture, that word. It defines conscription, which is kind of the same thing.
Right.
So the lyric is he falls victim to conscripture, but conscription means, which is a compulsory enrollment of a person into military service. So I guess by definition, what that line would mean was he fell victim to like wanting to go to the military, which explains like what the song is about because Second Pillow is basically like, you know how like there's always two pillows on a bed and like he sleeps on one, she sleeps on
Yeah.
one. And so she would always say that like she would spend most of her time on hers, but she would always roll over and like leave her tears and like dreams of him on the second pillow for when he comes back.
Oh. See, my brain completely went to, oh, this is a play on words like scripture, like Jesus.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
But it literally meant he went out to the military, which also makes sense because like why that pillow would be empty then. I
Right.
guess I just never put two and two because I didn't know the word.
Right.
But yeah, it's not really a cap word as in like I don't like it. It's literally I had no idea what it meant.
Right.
So I'm kind of glad we did a little learning with Cap today.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Ooh.
Well, the more
Which
you
is
know.
crazy. True. The more you know. Okay, so for our league spotlights today, we actually didn't really know what we wanted to do today, for this podcast. Not literally, we didn't look this up right now, but I was like, what if we just do our favorite champs or like champs we're like interested in kind of thing, and so Veda is gonna be diving into the one and only new champion Aurora. And then Choccy is going to be going into the lovely Nami, which is also one of my favorite champs too. So I'm actually super excited. And then I'll be going into Nunu because my favorite skin in League, as of right now, and probably will be for a while, is Nunu and B-Lump. And their story is just so fucking cute. I cannot even.
Yeah. Well, then, why don't you start for us, Cap?
I got you. So, what's really cute about the story that I'm about to tell you guys is it goes in through Nunu's story, which is the little boy, and Willump, which is the big yeti, and then it has a moment where it explains them on a brief adventure together, and it kind of ends a little spooky. Not spooky as in like
Spooky.
literally spooky ghost, but like
Ooh.
spooky as in like what do they mean? It's so weird.
Oh, like cryptic?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I was like, but they're two like friends. You can't say that. I'll
Oh,
cry.
interesting. Okay.
Okay. So it starts off with how you met Nunu. Nunu was a part of a nomadic tribe called the Notai. They traveled all across the Freljord, and he ended up learning a bunch of stuff from his mother, Laika, I would pronounce it, Layka. And basically she had been with the Notai for a while and she learned stories from other elders, from her mother herself. But it's not just storytelling, as in she gets to sit down and have a book and speak in her like their native tongue and like talk to Nunu like that. They told stories in the form of song, which is why Nunu always has a flute. So he loved journeying with his mother across village to village. They're across the Freljord telling stories. And whenever a new story was made, for example, if they're on their caravan journey and something new came along, the whole tribe would come together and find lyrics to write a song chord, which is really cute. I absolutely love that. And most of their stories would be of ancient heroes of the Freljord, or little tunes and folk songs that they would dance to at celebrations. On his fifth name day, Leica gave Nunu a special gift, his magic flute. He named the flute Svelsonger, which is, I would say, I didn't know the definition, like what language it was from, but it
Mhm.
literally sounds like spell song in a different
Mhm.
language, and that sounds so cute. It's spelled Svellsongur, and he would learn to play his mother's melodies all by himself, just from hearing her sing and tell the stories. And there would be some sheets of music, but mostly he would play by ear. And so they also had little beads and necklaces that they would wear, and these would be called a heart song or a song chord. You can also like compare it to when Natiri was making a song chord for her kids in Avatar. That's a really good comparison if you've seen The Way of Water. She has one specifically for Nateum, which is her eldest son, and so that basically helps them record um where they've been, what special moments they've been to together, and also you can mark each bead with how old you are, so you can see where you started and sing through the whole song of your birth kind of. So they're loving their life, enjoying this fun time, but one day their caravan was attacked, and Nunu was separated from his mother. He was dragged to safety by surviving Notai, but weeks passed and no one knew where she was. He was so worried and he missed his mother so desperately, he spent more and more time alone, away from the other Notai. He didn't really want to hang out with anybody, and there weren't really any more kids his age to go hang out with. So
Mhm.
he was just off to the side of the caravan. He stuck with them, but he didn't really like hang out with anybody really. And believe it or not, he was actually met by the leader of the Frost Guard, Lysandra herself, who pestered him with weird questions. She would always ask him, "Where's your mom? Do you know where your mom is? Do you know when your mom will be back? Also, by the way, do you know one of those songs she would sing? Do you remember the lyrics? Do you remember? Do you remember?" She would just pester him all the time about this one particular song, and he just wouldn't remember. Like, not wouldn't as in like he didn't want to tell her, but like he couldn't remember the lyrics because he would only play the music to the songs that his mother would sing. So he
Mhm.
never actually learned the lyrics.
Oh,
Oh.
So he was just kind of like, "Ugh, whatever, Lysandra, like stop bothering me." And he just really wanted to become one of those heroes in those songs so his mother could sing about him and so he could find her. And so he just wanted to become one of those heroes so bad that he actually used his flute as a makeshift dagger when he was messing around with the other kids. But a lot of the older kids, because there wasn't any his age, actually had weapons, daggers, shields, bows, arrows, spears. They would just laugh at him and be like, "Oh, look at Nunu. He's got a flute. That's not a real weapon."
Oh.
So he would get bullied and he would be alone and made fun of. And it was so sad.
That is so
And so
sad.
it is. So he actually like said his only friend was Svellsonger, his flute. So he would sit alone and try to remember all the songs and try to piece together the lyrics and which like notes went with song, where does it start, where does it end, and kept remembering this one that his mom kept singing. It was about a fierce monster who killed all that sought to control or take a power away from it, and he knew what he had to do. He could name the beast and answer his challenge of Svalsonger. And that is where I'll leave you with Nunu as we go and jump into Willump. So,
oh,
Willump is one of the Yetis of the ancient noble race, and they once ruled over the mountaintops of the Freljord. Unfortunately, the Yeti civilization was destroyed in a cataclysm of ice. One Yeti witnessed his brethren descend into savagery and their magic
No.
slowly be stripped away. He swore that he would protect what remains of their power, as this power was contained in a gem and it swirled with the frozen dreams of any mortal nearby. And so this magic gem of any mortal who was nearby, their mind or like images in their brain, like their thought process,
Mhm.
dreams and stuff, would be transported into the gem. Not like it was taking it away, But Willump could look inside the gem and see if they were worthy enough to bestow the power upon it, or who could help reclaim this power for him, as he was the only Yeti left. He was the last guardian of the magical gem, and he needed to find a vessel worthy enough, or else the power would be gone forever.
Wow.
So he went and protected this gem for years and years. But what's really sad is that the guardian forgot his name. He couldn't remember it from his past. He was almost himself going into savagery like his fellow brethren who became just monsters of the cold. And so he remembered that there might have been a song that had his name in it. Because, of course, he was one of the Yetis that, like, a lot of people knew about because he lasted around for a while. So there was a song about him, but he himself couldn't remember the song. He couldn't even sing it himself.
Oh.
Until one day, a boy stumbled into the Yeti ruins. The monster approached the boy, growling and ready to tear the boy apart. But he looked down at the gem, just randomly, as they were meeting eyes, and saw images of heroes slaying dragons and beheading ancient serpents, and these heroic stories and adventures within the boy's mind. The child roared out and held the flute like a sword, and was ready to do his bidding to try and do anything to try and get the Yeti to help him. And then he saw the gem too, and he saw his own images that he was thinking of in the gem and got confused. And then they paused for a moment, and Nunu started playing the song. He wasn't singing it, so there wasn't any lyrics yet, but he started playing the song. And at the end of it, he looked up at the monster and didn't see a scary beast. He saw someone who just needed a friend. The Yeti was so unprepared for the snowball fight that just hit his face, square across, just hit him right on the nose. The child yelled, "Snowball fight!"
Oh.
The guardian was filled with joy and joined in, shaped by the imagination of the boys' fun and games. And they started laughing, and the growls started to become more laughs and chuffs, and they started nailing each other with snowballs left and right. Until the Yeti broke his flute.
Oh no.
Shattered to pieces across the floor. The child began to cry, and the guardian felt grief and sadness within the gem. He looked in the gem for years and only saw people who just wanted to attack him and take it for their own. But now that he saw this boy and how sad he was, looking in the gem again, he noticed a voice singing the song he's been looking for all these years, and an unknown feeling coming from the boy. The Yeti looked over to him and felt love.
Oh.
He knew this boy was the one with a simple gesture. The magic passed from the gem into the boy, making his ability to bring his imagination, his dreams to real life. And the flute re-pieced together and hardened into true ice. And the Yeti became the boy's best friend, earning the name Willump.
Oh.
It's so cute!
That's so stinking cute. The fuck?
It's so cute. So, they escaped the Freljordian plains and ran amok together. Nunu would ride on the back of Willump as they raced through snow, having snowball fights and sled races, all the above. And they started to do something they never would have thought they could do alone. They had an adventure. With the song of Nunu's mother, they snowballed wildly, just running through and looking all over for her, hoping that they would find her one day in one of these busted down villages, maybe somewhere in a cave or a crevice. And what's the sad part is Willump knows that the games will end one day, and the dark ice at the heart of the Freljord will thaw and thaw and thaw.
Oh.
And I was like,
What the
why
fuck?
did you say that?
Who does that?
Oh my God.
Don't do that. Don't.
I know. They told her
Don't
such
do it.
beautiful story and how sweet it was, and then they said, "But the games will end." And I was like, "Why? Why did they have to
Play
end?"
forever. Play forever. Lol.
It was so sad. So I actually have one of her songs, is a short one that she would sing. And she would sing, "Where waters once roared, winds whisper to stone in shadow. Nolyag lies, silence sings, hope survives." And Nolyag is predicted to be that one place that Laika, his mom, should have been. They entered this
Oh.
stony village only to find everyone there had turned to stone.
Oh
They looked through
no.
all the people, every single person they could find, even through the shattered remains, to see that maybe one of the faces would look like his mother, but not a single one bared the face of Laika. So there's still hope that she's out there, and Nunu and Willem are still traveling across the Freljord to look for her.
That's straight up
Damn.
tragic, dude.
Right? But it's such a cute story. I'm
It
so glad I
is.
picked Nunu. It's so
Maybe like I wish I would have heard the first part, but like maybe the second part, like no, thank you.
Yeah.
Could have
Way to
let that
cover
one at
all
home, actually,
topics.
yeah.
But that is all I have on the lovely Nunu and Willem.
Wow, that's crazy. I can't believe cuz I remember watching, I didn't play it, but somebody
Oh, I
streamed
didn't get
to
to play it
me
either.
the Nunu and Willem game.
Yeah.
And I remember it being like cute, and they were trying to bust Willem out of the like Freljordian holding cell that
Yeah.
and it was a
They got
very,
into
very
trouble a
cute
lot.
game, yeah. But I just like never would have imagined. I was like, oh, this is so cute. Like, kid finds animal, saves animal, is now animal's best friend. Like, adorable. I love this story.
Yeah.
You know, I love the story type. I just didn't imagine
Yeah.
that all of that was behind it.
Yeah. I
My
thought when I was
God.
reading it and it said, he will name the beast, I thought he meant tame the beast. So
Mm-hmm.
I accidentally like autocorrected that on my own and like kept reading and I was like, oh my god, no, he literally meant like give Willem back his name,
Yeah.
which I thought was
Wow.
so cute. Like he helped him and he noticed the song and the gem. And so that's why Nunu has that like magical power whenever he plays the flute is the magic is transferred through the
Mm-hmm.
flute and why the snowballs have magic too.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's all the fun and games they got
Wow.
to do together.
That's
Yeah.
so cute.
That is
Yeah.
adorable.
That is so cute, but also now I'm so sad.
I'm
I
like,
know.
dude, I'm like so
It was
nervous for
adorable.
them.
I'm crushed.
Absolutely. I'm in pieces on my floor right now.
It'll be
Oh
okay.
my
I'm
God.
sure it'll be so okay. I'm sure, right?
Yeah, they got
It'll be like
time.
it'll be like
Ice doesn't thaw
so
that
fine.
fast.
No, like they're gonna find her, like, to be honest, like
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
and
they
plot
have
armor.
to at
She's
this point,
plot
else I'll
armor right
cry.
now.
So
and like the
Just kidding.
Freljord
When
is
does League of
gonna.
Legend ever have plot armor?
True. Yeah, Mord's died how many times? I mean,
a lot.
no one stays dead forever.
Yeah.
How long was Azir under the sand? Like forever, right? So I mean,
Yeah, he also failed,
Oh.
and Nunu's mom won't. So
right.
There
we
unlike
go.
Azir, perhaps Shurima was meant to fall.
Perhaps Shurima was meant to
Was
fall.
meant to fall.
Ah, Shurima.
Ha, Shurima.
Shurima. The
Oh
only
my
way I
god.
learned how to say Shurima.
Literally. I will never forget me telling Chalky to use that as like the way to remember how to say Shurima. And so every time that she would need to say it, she would go, and then in Shurima. And I was like,
Wait, really?
yeah.
Yeah. Because do you remember when we did all of the like districts, right? Like kind of like
Yeah,
all
yeah,
of the different I had Shurima, so that I was like, oh, shawarma, and then I kept like fucking up and I couldn't say the name of it. And that's when that happens, and I was like, Shurima. So then every
You
time I
had
think
to
about
just
it,
drop
Yeah.
down real
drop like
quick.
10
just gotta
octaves.
drop the octave, yeah.
I love it so much.
Well, today you don't have a Shuriman for us, right? Chalky, you got Nami.
I don't have a Shuriman. I have a Nami. So jumping
fish.
right into that. In the seas west of Mount Targon, there's a tribe of there's a tribe of mermandic. Such a weird word.
Mermantic?
Mermandic, like
like
mermaid creatures. Okay.
Okay, that's a
Like
word.
mermaid nomads.
Yeah.
Yeah, the word used is mermandic, but they're
Interesting.
mermaid creatures.
Of course.
Because I guess mermen, right? So
Oh,
like
for
gender
sure.
neutral.
Yeah.
Mermandic.
Well, no, because of course it has to have man in it. Like, can't just be
Oh
like
my
mer
God,
people,
man.
mermans. No, it still have man. Man, fuck men.
Well,
Just kidding.
actually,
I'm
it's
just
spelled
kidding, but
mermadic.
oh,
Mermadic. There we go.
mermatic. Oh,
Actually,
there you
yes.
go. All right, I'm okay
There
with
we
it
go.
now.
Sorry.
Everything's
Yes.
okay
Okay,
now.
perfect.
I forgive Luke.
So so they live off of the coast of West Mount Targon, and they're
Ooh.
known as the Mari tribe. So they discovered a rift in the depths of the ocean that they're living in, right? And the rift held like horrible creeping darkness, and there was it was just always like crawling out like dangerous creatures, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So it was like kind of like it reminded me of the Void Rift,
Yeah.
but it's
Oh,
in the
okay.
sea. Yeah. So at the center of their village, they had a glowing rock known as a moonstone that was said to be like infused with celestial magic of the heavens, and
Ooh.
its light protected the Mari from the creatures that crawled up from the abyss.
That sounds like that A soul magic.
True. He dropped,
Literally.
like, a drop of starlight or something. They
Well,
found it.
I think so in the episode that me and Chalky went over like Shurima and Chalky blew my mind with all the Shuriman lore.
Of course.
All of their magic comes from Aesol. So I mean, I wonder if maybe this did too. Cause like
Probably.
cause if the Targonians tapped into Aesol's power to give it to Shurima and the Sun Disk or whatever, then I'm sure that they could have, dropped some sort of magic celestial crystal into the seas by, Mount Targon.
Don't worry, I got
Honestly,
you.
I would just
I got
believe
you. I have the
anything's
answers.
from
Oh,
Aesol.
oh, Chalky has the answers.
I have the answers. I have
It's
the
Aesol.
answers. Don't worry.
It's Aesol.
So yes, so this crystal, right, the moonstone, every 100 years or so, the light begins to dim. And in that moment, the
Oh.
tribe chooses their fiercest warrior and bestows them the title of the Tide Caller. So this
Oh.
tide caller must plunge into the icy darkness of the rift and survive all of the horrors, all of the creatures,
Oh,
and
Oh.
retrieve an abyssal pearl. So they have to go on this
oh,
epic quest to get this pearl, right?
yeah.
So if
Mhm.
successful, the tide caller will raise to the shore and they will meet a wanderer from Targon and it will trade the pearl for the moonstone. Okay?
Okay.
So
Oh,
after this quest, they get the pearl, they trade it. They have now a new moonstone for several hundred years, right? Every 100 years or so.
oh,
So like 100 and a half or whatever. Um, so anyway, so through the task is not for the faint of heart, but the exchange has kept the creatures of the dark contained.
mm-hmm.
So keeps the
Oh.
village safe. It's not an easy one, but it's needed. So in the past, like the Mari people have sent troops of the most elite warriors to collect the pearl, but they've learned the more people that they send into the rift, the stronger the monsters become as it
Oh.
feeds on their energy, which also kind of reminded me of the void. So, um, not so like anyway, so they decided only to send a single scout, and it's armed with the legendary Mari staff that's capable of controlling the tides. So they can kind of elude the danger and be in the deep long enough to escape with the pearl if they only send one.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Like,
So
you
they
wouldn't
can't send a
wanna.
whole troop down there.
Yeah.
And Nami had always wanted to be a tide caller, but she was impulsive and young, and she was a fierce fighter, and she was known among the Mari for her stubborn determination, but it got her in trouble a lot.
Ooh.
So when she was an adolescent, the moonstone dimmed for the first time in a century. Nami attempted the trial of the tide caller, but due to her impulsiveness, however, the elders chose Rasho, who was like a warrior known for his level-headedness in battle, and he was now made the tide caller. So he dove into the depths of the abyss, and a week passed, and then another week passed, and an entire month they waited for the return of that tide caller, and there was no sign of Rasho. And no tide caller ever had failed to return.
Wait, that's crazy.
So,
They could have just sent Nami. They didn't have to do with that Rasho guy.
well, because they thought that she was too impulsive, like she was too
They
she didn't
chose
have her head
wrong.
in the game.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm-mm-mm.
So the elders waited and argued, and the moonstone grew more and more faint, so the creatures could bust up, and they'd go
Yeah.
again. But Nami knew that someone had to do something. or all would be lost. So she decided that person was her. And Nami grabbed her mother's staff and plunged into the abyss. And after several days, she returned with the pearl, the fallen tide-collared staff, so Rocco's staff, and a look of quiet horror in her eyes.
Oh
So
no.
she found Rocco's staff, which obviously means that he passed away in the
Mhm.
abyss. Um,
Mhm.
so the elders of the village were furious, but they
Oh.
admired Nami's bravery and officially designated her as the tide caller. And Nami ascended to the surface and rode the tide to shore to meet with the landwalker to trade the pearl. However, nowhere to be found was the stone bearer. Instead, there was an elderly woman who waited on the beach. The woman whose grandparents bore witness to the last tide caller exchange explained that there was no moonstone. The aspect of the moon was the only being that could conjure the moonstone, but she had fled Targon.
Wait, Diana?
So the aspect of the moon is the only one
Wow.
who can make the moonstone.
Diana, you sneaky little.
Yeah.
God
What the
damn.
fuck?
That's
She
my
freaking
bitch,
bailed
though,
when
bro.
they need. I know, but why'd she bail when we needed her the most?
Oh, because she's a
Literally.
coward. I love
Oh,
her.
okay.
I love her, but
100
she's a
years, bro.
coward. She was a coward when the Solari took her in. She was a coward when she had to face Leona. She was a coward with the Moonstone. I mean, I love her, but she's got to work on herself, you know?
Low key. So Nami was like, I am not willing to accept this. And she vowed to find the aspect, Diana, and retrieve the moonstone that her people deserved and depended on for survival.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
So, using the power of the mythical tide caller staff, she summoned a perpetual pool of moving water beneath her fins, and Nami took to land to continue her quest and
Oh wow.
swarm to a brand new world. So, she left the world. The story that is attached to Nami is kind of Okay, I'm not going to go over the story because I don't like it.
That's fair.
She went
Okay.
Valid
Yeah,
even.
to a
fair.
Targonian village and it's on fire, okay?
Yeah.
She puts out the fire. They're like, wow, we respect you. And they say, go to Ionia. That's where she was last seen. So she heads off to Ionia and that's it. So like it's not a huge
She's just
impact
been
like
swimming
her actual
around.
story. Yeah,
Yeah.
she waiting, she
Mm.
waiting. So her abilities, she's a support champion, so she has the Aqua Prison, which deals damage and stuns all enemies that it impacts.
And is the most annoying thing
Um,
in the planet.
Hey man,
it
that's
is
my
when you
main
get
right
hit by
there.
it. She has Ebb and Flow, which is a stream that bounces between allied champs and enemies, and it heals allies, damages enemies. So, you probably get that pass through every once in a while.
Mhm.
Um, Tidecaller's Blessing. It empowers an allied champ for a short duration. The ally's basic attacks deal bonus damage and slow the target. So obviously that's also annoying.
Mhm.
And Tidal Wave. Sorry, actually the passive first. So Surging Tides. When Nami's abilities hit allied champions, they gave movement speed. So if you get hit with the Aqua Prison and you're an ally, then you get movement speed. So the tidal wave knocks up and damages enemies as well as gains double effect for surging tides, so the movement speed for the allied champs. So
Mm.
kind of cool.
Okay.
Nice.
Oh
Fun
yeah.
facts.
Hmm.
Nami, sorry, Nami. Nami
Namai.
is a Messiah.
Oh, she's a
So
Vastaya.
a yes, so an ancient race of demi-humans, changed by magic of the spirit world.
Mm-hmm.
So they can live for centuries long, like she's like 180 years
Right.
old-ish.
Yeah.
Um, and my last fun fact and last thing about Nami is a bisexual in a bisexual polyamorous relationship with Loto, who's an abyssal guard, and Tama, who's a hot mermaid songstress.
Holy
Does it say
hell!
hot in there too?
Oh my
No, I
god!
put hot in there because I
Oh,
looked
okay,
at
of
the
course,
picture
of
and I was
course.
like, she cannot.
I would have died
Oh
if they said
hell
that.
yeah, though.
Love that for
So
Nami.
Nami refers to Loto as my heart, and she refers to Tama as my soul.
Oh, that's
Now
kinda
I gotta
cute.
listen to the voice lines in games.
Yeah.
Okay,
And I gotta know if
the voice
Diana and her
lines.
have a voice line together.
Yeah, there's nothing crazy, but she is in a bisexual polyamorous relationship, which is kind of cool. I don't know. I didn't know that about Nami. Funnest fact, I think, of the night.
I agree.
Yeah. Wow, a polyamorous relationship. That's so I love that for her.
What a
Yeah, and
fish.
they're both hot. Bro, like the
Yeah.
Abyssal Guard Loto, if you ever have a second, look him up on League, the League lore thing. He kind of crazy. And also, Tama, kind of sheesh if you're into mermaids, but anyways.
Sheesh. Oh my gosh, I can't.
And that's it for me.
Let's go, Nami.
Excellent. Yeah, I do.
Woo!
I'm sad that there's not more on her. I love Nami. I
Yeah.
think, like, as annoying as she is to play against, she's super fun to play as, and she's just adorable.
Yeah.
I just love her.
Yeah, she's cute.
It's funny though.
Passing it on to Veda. Oh,
Yeah, for another Vestaya, actually. So,
Let's
um,
go.
we're going
oh my
to
god.
talk about Aurora. This is our new mid lane mage champion that just came out not too long ago. She is a Vestaya, and she's from a Freljordian tribe known as the Briny. They are a pretty isolated tribe. They kind of look after one another, don't have much to do with the outside world. But she is actually the only one in her tribe that has any sort of like spiritual connection. And by that, I mean she can see both the mortal plane and the spirit plane. And she
Ooh.
is an outcast in her tribe due to that. Most people kind of just think she's crazy, including her own parents. The only person that she can actually really talk to is her great aunt. But her great aunt being there for her, I think, made it a lot easier for her growing up. Current date, she's 180 or so years old. We don't have an exact date, but we know that somewhere around the early 800s after Noxus, quote unquote, because that's the time measurement we use. We know that somewhere around 814 to 16 after Noxus, she went to go visit, or she was born, because at the age that she was when she went to go see Ornn, it maths out to somewhere between like the beginning of the Freljord and like her visiting Ornn. And yeah, she essentially has this whole like dual sight growing up, and she starts to like see, like, she can see spirits, right? And she's not the only person who can do this, but she's the only person in her tribe who can. So she doesn't really know what she's doing. She hasn't had any guidance in trying to tap into this or trying to like necessarily manipulate or control it. But she did her best to study the spirit realm growing up. And eventually she comes across this kind of twisted elk-like creature spirit who was, you know, this kind of loud and rambunctious, scary, you know, fearful kind of thing. Like you could tell that it was scared and it was thrashing around, and she was trying really hard to calm it down, but it just wouldn't have it. And then eventually she kind of earned the spirit's trust. And so the spirit accompanied her. It's, you know, this elk-like spirit, and she wanted to know more. So she tried to ask some spirit walkers. She ventured out and tried to ask these spirit walkers, you know, do you have any information on what this could be? Do you have any idea where I can find more information? And all of them were basically like, listen, I don't know anything. And if you're not getting anywhere, maybe you should talk to Udyr. You know, he's the greatest spirit walker of the Freljord. Maybe you should talk to him. So that's exactly what she did. She tracked down and she asked Udyr what exactly was going on. And Udyr took like one look at this thing, and he was like, you're gonna have to ask somebody else, and point her into the direction of Ornn. Because when he looked at her friend, he was basically like, I can see this. I understand that this is like something of the spirit realm, but I can't communicate with it. And the only person I think that can is Ornn. who is a demigod. So you need to go visit him. So she makes her trek on over to the Hearth home, which is where Orn is located. This is where his big forge is, where he crafts all his incredible legendary items that we had actually previously talked about. And she essentially like knocks on the door, and he's like, what? And she's like, well, I have this friend, and he all but slams the door in her face. He basically says like, go away, I'm too busy, I can't be dealing with this right now. Like, I mean, Orn is a grumpy old man who wants nothing to do with anybody because he's like constantly mourning all of his people being dead, right? So I mean, like, there's nothing that he wants more than just solitude after that.
So yeah, if I looked down and I saw a bunny girl look up at me and said, so my friend, I would slam the door too.
Yeah. So he was basically like, nah, go away. And if anybody got to play the cute little game that was out before this patch came through, the little Hearth home game, it was basically like I think it was called the Spirit of Hearth home. And it was this tiny little cute game. And basically what you did was you played technically as Aurora. And you're just like, you're reorganizing the forge. You're like, you know, cleaning up, and you're doing puzzles and like all this cute stuff. And as you do one of these puzzles, like you had to figure out these books in order because they depicted something. What they depicted was Orn and his siblings, Lysandra and Volibear, who also goes by Valhyr, and Anivia. But, you know, so you've got these books that are depicting his siblings and the story of the Freljord, and they had runes on them, and you had to use those runes to actually go play on this kind of like very cute mandolin looking instrument. I don't actually know what it is because I'm uncultured, but you played it on this. I don't actually know what the instrument was. It was like, it looked like a mandolin, but I don't think that's what it was.
It was so cool though. Like
it
was pretty sick,
and it made such a beautiful sound. Also, if no one has seen it, there's a meme out there of somebody playing Call Me Maybe on it. Well, they figured out how to play. What? They figured out how to play Call Me Maybe. Hold on, let me see if I can find it.
That's amazing.
Orn game Call Me Maybe.
I'm not shocked that someone figured out how to play a different song on the magical Orn instrument.
Oh, though. For sure. Yeah,
no,
just I'm not surprised.
Legend community.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that that somebody also took the chance to meme on an instrument where you have free reign. Like you could play whatever you wanted to out of those. So if you know any song within a 5-note range, you can pretty much recreate it on it. So I'm not surprised that somebody was like, oh, you know what I can play here? Truthfully, if the game was up longer, I probably would have done it. I'm just trying. I don't think I can find it offhand. If I can, I will send it to you guys and I'll post it in the Discord. But it was so fun. They were literally like, you know what? Fuck it. Here's Call Me Maybe on Orn's instrument. It was so funny.
I love that.
But yeah, you're doing all this stuff, right? And you're unlocking like little bits and pieces actually of Orn's past. So he's sharing information with you of like, oh, you know, this is my this is the song of my brother, and you know that people were so fearful of his storms and like so, you know, scared of his thunder, and he was kind of like the cause of why I lost everything and blah blah blah. But he's like almost telling this in like a reminiscent, because he goes into how things were good between them before. It's like very tragic because also I learned it's called a keyed fiddle.
Keyed fiddle.
Yes.
Interesting.
But it is very like, it's a very tragic game in the sense that you can see that Orn's in pain, like mourning the loss of everything close to him. But he sees in this character that you're playing, which is Aurora, He sees in this character like a glimmer of hope of like, okay, so maybe not all people have lost like genuine connection. You know, like maybe there's still some good out there. And so she tidies up and she organizes everything, and he's basically like, you know what? I really appreciate this, and I do have information about your friend. I'm really sorry that I was being a little grumpy, but here's where you can find more information about your friend. The name is Haster. Haster? It's Haestryr. So I want to say like
Haste
Hasterer.
Dryer?
Hasterer, maybe? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hasterer.
It's a cool name.
Yeah. So, and he did that as a gesture of a newfound friendship, along with he forged her a wand that would grant her the ability to create portals between the mortal and spirit realm at will. So from there, she kind of set off to go to this, you know, undisclosed location to find out more about Haystryre and to kind of like, you know, dive more into learning about the spirit realm that she now has an open portal to at any time. And so that's where she is right like current day. That's all the lore that we have so far because, you know, she just came out. But I do have some fun facts, and I have some information on her character wise. So as far as her appearance, she is a super slender, like pale bunny girl. She's got freckles, blue eyes, and she's a redhead. Because she's a Vestaya, she does have a mostly human appearance, but she does have like the long bunny ears. She's got like the cute like bunny legs and the tail, and all of it's signatured with like these splotches to match her freckles, and she's got like it's all orange hues and everything. She wears huge circular cute ass glasses, and she has a like outfit which is like a teal wide brimmed hat and a white fur lined coat over teal and white like a tunic and shorts. And then she has brown thigh high open toed leather boots. And so she's got this like very like she's got this very like cute witchy like baddie outfit that she's got going.
It is very cute. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with her outfit. It's so cute. People kept comparing her like her tunic to the Virgin Killer sweater, and I think that's so funny. But then as far as her personality, she's pretty quiet. She's got a, you know, big love for knowledge. She loves to learn. But she doesn't go too overboard with it. Like, she's not an obsessive learner. She's just generally like knowledgeable and very curious. She's very caring. She is like willing to help out pretty much anybody. And you can see that in the way that she like both decides to tidy up Ornn's home, even though he was like, I don't want anything to do with you. And also in the way that she met Haystryre, which is, you know, a giant twisted horned like elk that is thrashing all over the place isn't exactly something that you approach, but she was like, no, I want to help you calm down. Like, that's just her general nature. She is because she is of Vestaya, she has a strong connection to the spirit realm, which is why she might have been born with this kind of ability to kind of see both of them. So as Choccy said before, she's able to live a lot longer because of the Vestayan race and because she has this magic within her. So she is around 180 at the moment, give or take a few years.
Me.
Yeah.
Now me and her could be friends.
Yeah, literally. And she has kind of like this incredible intelligence when it comes to the spirit realm, just because of how long she's spent trying to understand it. She's got a lot of knowledge about the creatures that inhabit it. She has immense knowledge on the subject, but also like a huge curiosity on the things that she doesn't know. And as of right now, her only friend is Ornn. which is, and so she keeps going back to
Kind of
visit
cute though.
him. Like she goes back to
Yeah.
visit him
Yeah.
very often and says like, "Hi Gramps, how you doing?"
I just imagine him like working around the workshop and like while she's gone, he like would look over at like his tea kettle or something and be like, "Oh, I
mhm,
wish she was here." And then when she would like show up randomly and there'd be a hot steaming cup next to him at the workshop, he'd like smile a
mhm,
little.
yeah.
It's so
Oh, so
cute.
cute. Um,
I love it.
yeah. But she is in fact a witch. Her alias is the Witch Between Worlds. And
That is
so
so
a
cool.
couple of her fun facts. She is actually canonically on the autism spectrum.
Ooh.
Although autism is not a concept that is known to the world of Runeterra or Valorant,
Mhm.
she is on the spectrum in comparison to like what we would see on the spectrum, like IRL.
Yeah.
Um, she also has her like hobby is crocheting, and she has like a one of the fun facts was that she has like a pattern on her splotches on her skin that resembles like a leopard spots.
Mhm.
Uh and
That's so
yeah,
cool.
that's pretty much it. Something that I did notice though while I was going through it is that she straight up is like a Vieira from 14, which I know is not saying much because they're both bum girls, but I mean like straight down to like the Vieira people are like super isolated and they're super spiritual and they're like half human, half bunny. Um so
Mhm.
like not only does their appearance match, but like also like their kind of like customs of like seeing spirits or like having an earth plane and a spirit plane and kind of like staying solitary in their own people. So I thought that was really interesting because it almost feels like you took a Vieira and plopped it right in the league.
Yeah.
Like my worlds are
Interesting.
combining.
I wonder when more stuff comes out about Aurora, like how many
Hmm.
more similarities there's gonna be.
Yeah, that it'll be interesting to figure out. But I went through her. I actually played her a little bit in the PBE because she's out on
Yeah.
PBE, and
Mhm.
I heard like a cute few voice lines. Like I know she has one where when she talks to Ornn, like when she first encounters him, because like I played against an Ornn. Um,
Yeah.
when she runs into him, she's like, "Oh, well met." And then I can't. She didn't call him Orange. She called him something else. I don't know what it was. But she was like, "I have so much to share with you since we last spoke," and it's like so cute. Like you can see their friendship, and I think it's
Oh,
so adorable. Um,
I love that.
Cute.
and then when she sees Yumi, she like gasps and she's like, "Oh my god, toe beans!" Like it's like she's
Oh,
so
what the
cute.
fuck? That's so cute.
Wait, that is
Yeah,
really cute.
it is actually super adorable. And then like when she meets Udyr, I think she says like, "Oh, so we meet again. Do you care to catch up after this?" And it's like she's very cute. Like she's very like
Yeah. You look
quirky and cute.
quirky.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
cute. Um
I love that.
uh
I
and I
can't wait
think
for it to
it's
come
she
out.
has a line that I really really like where when she's talking to Ash, she says like, "You want to bridge the Freljord's divide, but unity isn't harmony." I got
Interesting.
I got chills.
Yeah.
But
Is
yeah,
Ash,
she's
I can't remember, is Ash one of the ones who like was against the original people of the Freljord?
no, all Ash has ever wanted was for the Freljord to be united under one banner. That's all she's ever wanted. So
Okay,
she
well, she's a little
thinks,
ballsy for that. I won't lie.
yeah, and she thinks that by doing that, it'll bring peace to the Freljord, which is why I
So
like this
Aurora kind of
line
like
so
spat
much.
in her
Yeah,
face.
because Aurora was kind of like, dude, unity does not mean everybody gets along. It just means
Yeah.
that we're all under one name,
Mm-hmm.
which is so true. Um,
Interesting.
Mm.
but it's funny because so Haystryer, the only thing that we know, which we know from the game, is that Haystryer is actually a demigod, which means if it's a demigod of the
Oh,
Freljord, it's actually one of Ornn's siblings.
siblings.
Right.
Yeah.
Which might be why Udyr was like, "Yeah, you should definitely be talking to Ornn.
Mhm.
But it's really sweet because she has, like, you know how they all have, like, every champion has like special lines that they say when they first
Mhm.
move.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
hers, one of hers is the worst fate for a demigod is to be forgotten. Um, I won't let that happen to Haystryre.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I wonder, because you know how like some demigods, like they can keep their more I guess the term would be humanistic tendencies. Like they can talk, act as like a normal person, interact with people, and like
Mm-hmm.
have this state of mind to be like conscious in a way. But like those demigods who like stray from the path or like become lost, become more animalistic. I wonder
Mm-hmm.
if that's like what happened to Haystryre.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's why he's not really like he's all rambunctious and ever like chaotic energy kind of thing is like he was too far removed kind of thing.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I don't know what'll
That must
happen.
have been a long time ago though.
Yeah, I don't know
Mhm.
what's gonna happen with like the lore with Haystryre, but I'm really excited to learn more. Like, I
Yeah.
imagine it'll be like a Legends of Runeterra thing where we're gonna learn more because I feel like that's what they do nowadays. Um,
Mhm.
but I want to know more just because I'm so interested to know, like, if Haystryre is a sibling of Ornn, then like how many lost siblings are there? Like
Yeah.
how many demigod spirits are walking around these plains, and also why is Haystryre so like scared and alone, and does it have anything to do with the big eye under the ice, or like, the
Mhm.
all of the things that the Freljord is secretly sitting atop, because I
Yeah.
feel like there's so much mystery wrapped into the Freljord that, like, I mean, who knows what could
Anything could be
happen.
possible to be honest.
Yeah.
Interesting,
Yeah.
interesting.
And the last
I
thing I
need
have for
more.
you, guys, is a rundown of her kit.
Mm.
So I'm going to start with her passive. Her spells and attacks actually exorcise spirits from the enemies that she damages. So the exorcise spirits follow Aurora around and heal her, granting her bonus movement speed, which is
Oh,
super crazy.
it
Uh,
totally is.
so her Q is twofold hex. She sends out a missile that essentially curses any enemies that it hits, and that can be minions or champions. She can actually recast to draw active curses back towards herself, which will damage enemies again and also damage any that are hit along the way. So if somebody's like in front of a minion wave and you send a Q out and it hits them and the minions, and then you pull it back, all of the ones that hit the minions are going to go through the enemy again. Um, so that one's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Her W is across the veil, and she leaps in whatever direction your mouse is. She enters the spirit realm, and upon landing, she becomes invisible for 1 second. And I think when you max out the skill, it gets to 1.6 seconds. Um, so what I've learned when I've been playing her is that this is really good to use to like jump forward to get a Q off. And then if you use your E, which is called across the veil, or I'm sorry, it's called the weirding. If you use the weirding, it is actually a like window to the spirit realm. So she sends out this blast of magic, and it damages and slows enemies, but she also leaps backwards. So if you use your W to jump forward, throw out a Q, and then throw out your E to jump back, you've basically just given damage for free because you get to hop right back to safety.
Mhm.
It's a pretty gross kit actually. And then
Yeah. She sounds so cool.
her ult is called Between Worlds. Uh how do I explain this? So she leaps in a direction of her choosing, just like her W does. And she releases this shockwave that damages and slows anybody it hits. But afterwards, she also creates this area that traps anybody, like anyone on the enemy team within it. And she's able to teleport from one side to the other by like walking into the wall. So wherever you walk into the wall, it's going to teleport you to the opposite side. And this like enemy is slowed while they're in there. So you basically just get to teleport all around them for like 2 seconds, just like dealing damage to them and just like escaping through portals. And then at the end of the few seconds, she can end it early, or she can just jump around until it ends, because it's only a few seconds long. But I think anybody who attempts to cross it gets slowed. And if you get like pushed back towards the center as well. Now,
yeah, I heard you take damage too if you touch the walls.
You get slowed, and you probably take a little bit of magic damage, I would assume.
Yeah, it's not a lot, but I know
Yeah.
you do get like a damage tick.
Yeah, you
for
probably
sure.
get poked a little bit. Now I will say, I think on the PvE it's a little buggy, because you can, like, as an enemy, you can leave it. You're just slowed. You're not supposed to be able to leave it. But I think if it's near the end of it, you can get out of it a little early. But using it, I mean, I haven't really found the best way to do it yet, because I've only played her a couple times on PvE. But she seems interesting. Like, I'm sure there are a lot of people in mid lane who will like her.
I like it. I'm
Yeah.
so excited. I cannot wait for her to get out of PvE and come to the real world. Let's go. I'm so excited.
Hell yeah.
I'm really
There's just
excited.
moments
I feel
like this where I like League, actually.
Yeah.
hearing about their abilities, like, I feel like they might be my new mid laner. Like,
True.
I think I'm
Yeah.
really excited.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Should be
she's
interesting how they play with other people.
I'm gonna be excited to see how she does in team fights.
Yeah, that's true. Wait, when she ults, is it like a displacement kind of thing? Or is it like a Mordekaiser ult?
It's like a Mordekaiser ult, except for, like, it's out in the open. So it's kind of like, it's this little AoE circle area kind of thing, and you and the enemy are inside of it. And I haven't seen anybody try to walk into it yet. I don't know what that's like.
If it's like Camille or not. Because Camille's is a circle too in the real world.
Right.
Hers is a hexagon, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it's the same way. Like, I don't know if it's like an Aurelia thing where if you try to walk into or out of it, you get slowed, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, maybe if they try to walk into it, they get slowed, and then they get pulled in or something. But I'm interested to see, like, how it works with allies running into it, or like how, because the only way that I've played it is I tried her out a few times versus like a bot. And so it's just me and one bot, so I don't know what she's like in team fights.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I know this one was a short but sweet podcast, everybody. And also, we don't technically have a hint for next week, because I kind of gave it away in last week's. So I'll leave you with that. If you guys want to figure out what next week's podcast topic is, you guys are going to have to go digging through the tweets. And I know Veda had some beef with quote-unquote X today, so we won't talk about that. But if you want to go digging around through my recent tweets, please go ahead and figure out what next week's is. I'll leave you sleuthing to go and find it. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your night. And remember, Coveys,
keep it real, but keep it curious.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.